and non-governmental. This conference, we would like to present it with you that we are responsible before Allah, and we judge our conscience. The party consists of one president and 13 members from the coalition countries. After naming the delegation members, there was an internal list for the party, and the team was divided into several cells. The first cell is the operational cell, focusing on carrying out data collection about the operations related to all allegations through the available data prepared by the preparatory committee. This team consists of coalition countries, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and the Yemeni Republic. The members are military counselors, experts in the field of weapons and in the operational affairs, in addition to measures relating to sorties. This team prepares a vision about the occurrence through collecting the commands they receive about the operation and the occurrences, and accessing the results and the learned lessons and the recommendations. The team, after preparing his report and presenting it, it is shown to the legal cell of Qatar and Bahrain and the Emirates and Saudi Arabia, comprising experts, legal experts, international humanitarian law. The cell, after getting all the information relevant to the allegation received by the team, they prepare a report, a detailed report, legal, incompatible with the international humanitarian law, to come out with a report that is compatible with the international humanitarian law. The legal cell prepares a comprehensive vision about this topic, and then the report is presented to the team with the presence of all its members to take the final resolution. We want to refer that there is a fruitful cooperation between the officials of the coalition for the team to carry out his mission optimally, to reach the truth that you are presented with in this conference. The team received several cases and carried out measures and investigated them after they reviewed the experiences of others in this field. And we review here these cases. The first case the team received from the Human Rights Watch, that the coalition forces bombed a complex in Taz 24/7 for 2015, corresponding to 1436 Hijrah. Through the investigations carried out by the team, we found out, based on intelligence data available to the coalition forces, that there are 4 targets in the regions under the Houthi militias and Saleh and the former president forces. We dealt with 3 of these targets with precision, except the 4th, which was missiles, which formed a menace to the coalition forces, that these missiles threaten the sea vessels in the Red Sea. So it was vital for the coalition forces to deal with this target based on the information and the location they received. Targeting this goal, it was a housing complex nearby the coastline. It was affected by the bombing. It was partially destroyed by mistake, which was not intended by the coalition forces based on intelligence data that were not precise. What is observed from the picture in front of you, we find that the housing complex that was bombed very near to the coastline. The team also found out that there was commitment by the coalition forces not to target civilians while dealing with this target, because it was not intended, because it was considered as a civil structure, or it belonged to civilians living here, in spite of the justifications that the coalition forces demonstrated for the bombing this place. But the evaluation that the collateral damage that happened to the wounded, to the injured from this bombing, in accordance with the Geneva Conventions, we will compensate liberally the victims by presenting the requests to the legal government with the right documentation that show the damage that occurred to them. Second, case 2, that was received by the team, the allegation from Doctors Without Borders about Haidan hospital in Sada province, that it was bombed in 2015 to the 13th of Al-Muharram in 1337. That through the data that was received by the team, that this structure, it was a military target based on intelligence data, that there are gatherings of Houthi movement in Haidan area. The building or a medical installation for receiving the wounded of the Houthi movement, and which was a violation of the international humanitarian law provisions about using medical installations for military purposes. No civilian casualties resulted from this Haidan hospital bombing. The result that was concluded, in spite of the justifications presented by the coalition forces for justifying the bombing, the evaluation team found that the coalition forces should have been committed, should have consulted with those in charge of the hospital in accordance with Protocol 1, Article 38 of the Geneva Conventions, that they should be advised before any bombing, albeit it be used for military purposes. Case 3, allegation by Doctors Without Borders that there's a mobile clinic in Taz on the 2nd of in 1337, after the coalition forces bombed a target near the mobile clinic. The team found out After investigation, that based on data, intelligence data, the target was targeted. It was a military congregation of Houthi movement, based on information received by the coalition forces from the loyal forces of the legal government in Yemen. This armed congregation is a lawful target of a legal target according to 52 of the Article Protocol 1 of Geneva Convention of military advantage that should be dealt with. Also, the team found out that this clinic, mobile clinic, was not directly hit. It was affected partially by this bombing, because taking into consideration that this mobile clinic is a cloth tent. No civilian casualties throughout this bombing, whilst this mobile clinic was exposed to this collateral damage. And the result, the outcome, that the procedures were correct by the coalition forces, incompatibility with the laws of the Geneva Armed Conflict Conventions. Reviewing this allegation, the leadership of the coalition forces express their sorry for these unintended events, and emphasize and prompt and encourage that the organizations offering medical services, they should keep at a distance the clinics from the conflict zone and the military actions. The team also received an allegation from the Secretary General of the UN that a market, a bazaar, was hit in 27th, 2nd, 2016, 18 of Jumada al-Ula, 1337 Hijrah. Through the investigations carried out by the evaluation team, we find that through reconnaissance planes, that there were convoys belonging to Al-Houthi, to the armed Houthi movement, on the roadside, beside this small bazaar, and on the street that links Nahm with Sana'a. A decision was taken to deal with this target with complete precision, using the guided bomb, laser guided bomb. The team also concluded that this target of high value as a legal, lawful target of a military advantage, and can be dealt with according to Article 52, Paragraph 2 of Protocol 1 of Geneva Conventions. These congregations that were in the area were present in uninhabited area under the Houthi fighters, Houthi rebels authority. This area is a provision area and logistics area for the Houthi fighters to carry out based on what we received of a large number of casualties. After reviewing of the team of the recordings, of the video recordings that reveal the operation details, they found out definitely that in that area a number of 7 people on the site. That is in contradiction with what we received, that about tens of people were wounded or killed. The result, that there was no mistake on the part of the coalition forces to deal with this target. Because they only target military personnel, no civilians were involved. Case 5, we received an allegation from the United Nations that the coalition forces bombed Khamis market in 2016 on 6 of 37 Hijrah. Through the truth that were clear to the evaluation team based on information intelligence data that big congregation of Houthi militias, it is a mobilization area in nearby Khamis. This souk is operative on Thursdays and is full of visitors. We find out that it was on a Tuesday, which is evident that on this day there is no any activity. Looking at the picture in front of you, that the market was not affected, not prior, not after the bombing. Consequently, there was no targeting, direct targeting of the souk, but what was targeted is a congregation of Houthi militias. This congregation, this crowd, was 34 kilometers away from the Saudi border, which was a menace, a threat to the forces existent on the border, which makes it a legal target of military value to the coalition forces, according to 52 article, paragraph 2 of Geneva of Conventions of Protocol number 1. The outcome that was reached by the team, that the procedure was correct, followed by the coalition forces whilst dealing with this military target. The team also of the rapporteur of extrajudicial executions, summary executions, according to the UN, through a military bomb, an aerial bomb of a wedding party on the 23rd of the 12th month, 1377. After referring to the records on this history, to deal with this allegation, it was found out that there was no activity on that area on the specified date of the allegation in the Mar province. And out of responsibility and humanitarian sense, the team checked the dates nearby this, close to this. What was found out is that one day after the allegation of the letter from the rapporteur, that there was an aerial mission on the 7th, 10 on the road between Damar and Dar al-Bayda. Looking at the picture, you see that the bombing on the asphalt road and targeting vehicles, armed vehicles, mobile in that area. There was no targeting of any civilian targets in that area on those dates. What was targeted was a military target, legal and lawful, of high military advantage to the coalition forces, which sanctions it according to Article 52, Paragraph 2 of Protocol 1 of Geneva Conventions. The conclusion that was reached, that the procedures carried out through targeting this target was accurate. There was no mistakes committed on the part of the coalition forces. Case number 7, the team received an allegation from the FAO president that 4 convoys, 4 vehicles carrying provisions on the 9/10/2016 in Harid, Ma'rib province, that these convoys were bombed by the coalition forces, destroying two vehicles and damaging two others and injuring the drivers. After carrying out the riot investigations, the evaluation team found out that these vehicles were targeted based on data that Houthi militia vehicles and the previous president forces, these convoys carrying missiles to target the coalition forces and the resistance movement loyal to the Yemeni legal government, which formed a threat to those forces that was incumbent on the coalition forces to deal with this target as quickly, as fast as possible. The truth, these convoys belonged to the FAO program. There was no coordination between the FAO and with the relevant authorities. Which was admitted by the FAO because they were not committed about to Article 7 to Article 70, that there should be communication with the relevant authorities to define the movements of these vehicles, which was a violation of in Article 70 of the Protocol 1 of Geneva Conventions. These vehicles were not specified that they were carrying insignia for prevention from aerial bombings, that they belong to the international relief organizations offering services in conflict zone, which is also a violation of the international conventions organizing these insignia and logos. The result that was reached by the team, that the procedures carried out by the coalition and dealing with this article were correct and incompatible with the humanitarian law. A case 7 and the last one in this exposition, the team received an allegation from Borders Without Borders, from Doctors Without Borders, about a hospital in Saada that shrapnel on the 23rd of the first month of 2016. Through reviewing the investigative procedures, we found out what was targeted: a group of storages containing ammunition used by the Houthi militias, guided missile laser. It was targeted by laser guided bombs, and the Republican hospital is 1,300 meters from the bombing site. The team was not hit directly, or the other collateral. Through reviewing the picture, we find out that the storage location 1,300 meters from the Republican hospital in Saada. Through the aerial image we review before you, we found out that the buildings nearby were not affected. Nearby the storage, they were not affected neither directly nor indirectly through dealing with this target. And this image you see, it points out to you in white line the site of the storage of the warehouse that was hit, and the buildings nearby were not affected, neither directly nor indirectly. Also, the team concluded that the Republican hospital in Saada is pointed out that it is a taboo and registered that as a medical facility and protected under international conventions, and that it should not be targeted directly. The outcome and the final conclusion accessed by the team that these measures carried out by the coalition forces were accurate and in compatibility with the international humanitarian law. In the conclusion of this summary, we would like to make sure to make out that the team presented you with the transparency and clearly the truth that were reached by the team and the conclusions through this exposition of 8 cases. We found out some shortages in 2 cases, but the others were accurate and in line with the international law. The team will continue its mission in investigating every allegation and will be exposed clearly, transparently. Thank you very much for your listening. Hoping I've been successful in laying the truth before you.